been a long time since I've been at a mic. So fun. Thanks, everybody, for being here. KGB Bar, thanks for this storied place where I've heard so many of my friends' wonderful poems. Ron, thank you so much for inviting us all and making this happen, and Michael for putting it in motion and making it so friendly. Really appreciate that. So I thought I would read 2 short poems by Alicia. So sorry she can't be here. These are both poems from the journal Tikkun, and the first is called Prayer. The force that sends light through the cracks in everything needs eyes to see. May it find me. May it find my eyes, enlighten my mind, gladden my days. May the one writing in the book of life keep writing my name clearly, and may I finally learn to read it. How's this with the mic and the talking? Yeah, okay, thank you. Needed that. They used to say, the pot must not complain about the potter, but I disagree. And I say, you there, writing in the book of life, send me your contact information. I know I am only one of your minor compositions. Still, I'd like to write you back, tell you my thoughts. Alicia Ostreicher. So Ron's very kindly is publishing 2 poems in a recent issue and a future issue. This one is also the title poem of a working manuscript called Each Other Moment. We turned location back on. We were resetting our passwords. We were scanning the QR code to order an iced matcha latte. We were on hold. We were saying representative into the phone. We were showing our Excelsior pass and putting in our contact information for timed tickets to the gardens. We were signing up for a streaming service and decrying our Zoom appearance. We were skimming, not reading. We were trawling and scrolling. We were calculating the millennia before reefs could revive and species come back in colors we haven't imagined. We were guilty, and each other moment also innocent. We were meditating so that the unforgiving might give a little. We were trying to find the contact information for the company. We were wondering where to recycle foam rubber. We were listening to a podcast and downloading a playlist. We cross-indexed our top issues in Charity Navigator. We were making suggested go bags and stay bins for the likely floods and fires. We were wondering why men only gave us 1 star. We looked to the sky for how to help anything at all. We hit retweet on the full moon, and we liked the Big Dipper. Constellations etch-a-sketch the night. Then the window shades' round pull rose into a sun, and light came on. We agreed with the ancients. That was hopeful. We turned location back off. We were innocent, but each other moment, we were lost. Thanks. So, something about Ron as a generous editor. He said, yeah, I'm going to take this poem. It's a weird poem, but so got to appreciate that. It's called Year One. We were a small, roving band of lactating mothers, settling into the corner of a coffee shop, unwanted upper-middle-class nomads with our trendy fold-up strollers, our enormous bags of compostable diapers, because at first we took everything a baby could need wherever we went. I'm surprised a pediatrician didn't pop out. Although one item we lacked was those lovely fabric shoulder tents they have now, so that breastfeeding required a partial view of a blossoming bosom, which more than any other single thing now made us feel part of a time before equipment. We 3 who had so recently been strangers in a birthing class, one from Italy, the other from Sweden, and both brassy, confident striders along Brooklyn sidewalks, now around a table, instinctually shielding each other like uncovered wagons circling a campfire. And for many months, when one baby cried, all our breasts zinged to the task. It was a time before differentiation, in so many ways, of us, the closest I will get to a tribal tent. And whatever went on at home, it was good to gather inside and speak our mother tongue. Thank you. Avon Boland. I stopped to read about your death and then went back to your book. I considered the amazing invention of it. I ran my hand along both pages when it was open to pages 56 and 57. In that poem, you're talking about silence, how it was a story and it told the story. I ran my hand along the pages as if testing linens. I considered how each page held your voice. How ingenious, how one page lies flat on the others with markings that are also silent until we read them, our mind daubing them word by word like a wand over stones. How well we trust by now the fleet winter evening will come over your neighborhood in the suburbs of Dublin, and how you will look out from your front doorway at dusk. Now your poems themselves seem framed by their rectangular thresholds, the ones you kept walking through first. It's so nice to read here with these poets who I know their work, and I'm happy to have these poems all be in the same room together. I'm very elevated by it.
And we're really listening.
Let's see. So this is a poem from my friend Dan Meltz, who's here tonight, who I've heard read here. It's called Office of Apology. Getting there. The Office of Apology. Sometime after coffee, around 4 p.m., I start on that day's apologies. I try not to get backlogged. No one wants to be a newlywed again with all those thank you notes to write. In bulk, sincerity flags, and in order to feel freshly, starkly abashed each day, and to keep from feeling freshly, starkly abashed each day, I remember that I've always offered apologies, hostess-like, as though ordained for it, wrongly though, in a switched-at-birth sort of way, I like to think. Be that as it may, having been mistakenly tagged a worker bee assigned to the mistake department, I unwillingly drill down on my identity with the focus of Ahab in reverse, so that my place in the cosmos might be assured and help neatly frame those more reserved and considered, the quietly poised and put together. Here's how it works. I forgot our lunch date and left Dan waiting in the restaurant until 2 bites left of his sandwich. Like a social multi-car collision, next I was late to a long-planned reunion during which I sped-talked to be home for a Zoom, which opened with me panting. That was today. It's only worth saying because I saw a clip on YouTube of Tony Bennett and Amy Winehouse recording Body and Soul at the Abbey Road studio. And those minutes could serve as a demo video of how kindness writes things, or tries to. Because Bennett works so hard to soothe the saddest genius while trying to ameliorate her decade of mistakes. She was 27 and died a few months later. And Bennett said he wished he'd had more time to urge her to take better care of herself, and later mentions that Jack Rollins, who had been Lenny Bruce's manager, said Bruce's tragedy was that he, quote, sinned against his talent. And Bennett said that single phrase had changed his own life long ago, and how he wished his world tour hadn't taken him away, so he might have told her so, because he knew Amy Winehouse was a world-class talent who sang right. And for goodness sake, Prince even offered her his plane to save her from her life-sucking father and mate, a story playing out in Whitney Houston's bio likewise. And I'm not one to say I never did anything wrong, but sometimes the wrong people are left holding the regret, as if someone in circulation made a mistake, got promoted, and has yet to apologize. Thank you. So, towards the end of my mother's life, which I pictured as her nearing the edge of a large open plain, uncontained wind spun at her hair, even as I brushed it. Speaking to her was like calling with a hand cupped beside my mouth, because she was slightly estranged from language and sat wild-eyed in the swirl of any conversation. I understood this from where my own daughters stood, so buddy-buddy with the current world. Much needed explaining to the one who used to explain. Maybe aging can be measured in units of explanation, how much you have left. And I still had small bills, information about tasks of daily administration, but no longer how the hummingbird tamps spider webs to make a nest, or an octopus turns any color in the ocean. I even remember with joy my youngest, home with a fever, how we read a picture book about the endurance to cool her off. And as she recovered, how she found to her delight she could stack one large number on top of another to add up perfectly below a line she drew. That was life. And as my mother nears the rim of hers, and the wind has stripped away the thin sheath of her living anger, her competition with happiness itself, now her bare, bowed shoulders of kindness frighten me, pain me, she who has loved me so dearly, and how to explain what adds up and endures in this life. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, everybody.